What's up, my good people of the internet? Hanging out here with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. Dan Tortora here inside of our awesome studios. You can see we added so many new pieces to the studio here. So many awesome things. Everything in the studio has meaning, folks. And we'll be moving some stuff around, bringing some stuff in as we go. So there's a bunch of great stuff about this being Italian and Hispanic. What I love about this is I get to move around, right? If you've ever met an Italian person or a Hispanic person, we like to dance, we like to move, we like to have that free reign. So the studio is now wide open, gives me an opportunity to interact with you in a cool and interesting way, allows me to get up, use my energy, have some fun, and of course be here in our own unique wake-up call way. So thank you for being here this day, as well as every single Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You'll find us on all of our channels all around the world. So if you're in Syracuse, Central, and Upstate New York, if you're up and down the East Coast, our second home of Florida, as well as another home that we've had of Pennsylvania. If you're in the Midwest, the West Coast, all around the world, youtube.com, facebook.com, both /wakeupcalldt, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. We got a great show set up for you inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. By the way, MonPaz is doing a really cool thing that they have. They got a cool promotion that's going to be going on here, and I definitely want y'all to take a part in what's going on at MonPaz Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. So they got some cool stuff going on. They have this, they're going to be adding a new flavor to their wheelhouse at MonPaz. And so when they add this new flavor, they have the opportunity of, they could just be choosing the flavor and say, hey, this is what our new flavor is going to be. Instead, they want you to be involved. They want you to go to 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, and help them choose their flavor. You can try all three of the flavors that they're looking at bringing in, and then you get to tell them, of the three that you try, this is my favorite, this gets my vote, and nobody can see it, but they will tally each of the flavors, and at the end of it all, they will decide which flavor has won based on you choosing that. I'm going to be over at MonPaz this week doing some cool videos with them about this awesome opportunity for the community to choose the next Ma and Paz flavor. And so, like I said, there's 3 different flavors. You can go and try them all, then you vote. I'm going to be doing something awesome with the staff there to bring this even more out there to you. They've done a great job with some cool things. They put up a video here yesterday and was able to share that with you. So very excited for that and the opportunity to be a part of that. So make sure you go to MonPaz. I call it the snack capital. They have everything. They have every kettle corn and popcorn flavor you could imagine, and then some. They have the sweet, they have the savory, they have the things you've never even thought of before, the flavors you didn't know you were going to love so very much. And then beyond that, they have chocolate dipped Oreos and pretzels. They have their cotton candy that they make in-house, their lemonade that they make in-house. So many amazing things, and they're all made there. The popcorn, the kettle corn, everything is made right there. Dip in the Oreos, dip in the pretzel sticks. And, of course, Valentine's Day is coming up, so they got a lot of sweet treats for the ones that you love so very much. So make sure you head out to 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York today. Let them know the DT sent you. With that being said, inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', we're going to start off the show with Daunte Bacheyie. Daunte Bacheyie is a 2025 wide receiver out of CBA Syracuse, 2023 New York State title champion with his team. So won a championship with the CBA brothers in this past postseason, and the team ended up being tied ranked for number 1 in the state of New York. So congratulations to Daunte Bacheyie, a wide receiver on the team. We're going to talk about family, school, football, and so much more. And I'm so happy that we finally get to bring this conversation between Daunte and myself to you. Then in hour number 2, around 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time, I'm going to be joined by the one and only Gene Waldron. And Gene Waldron spending a lot of time with me here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora over the years to discuss Syracuse. We'll be speaking on his past as well as Autry, Boeheim, and his take on the current state of the team, especially coming off of the buzzer beater in front of the crowd, and just what that felt like, and if it feels like Syracuse is coming back, if it feels like the Dome is rocking like it had been in the past. So we'll talk with Gene about a bunch of Syracuse topics on a Syracuse game day, as they will play tonight against FSU at home in the Dome at 7 o'clock. I'll be there. I hope you will be too. And then we'll round out the show like we always do on Tuesday with the ingredients to success, proudly presented by the fantastic team at Avicolli, 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York. And our subject this week, our topic this week for the ingredients to success, is team over self. That's team over self. So a lot of great stuff coming up. Daunte Bacheyie is going to be first. Can't wait to share with you how we feel about our moms. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back with my special with Daunte Bacheyie of CBA Syracuse, who has offers from Syracuse, Pitt, and Boston College right after this. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level, is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career, it's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Happy to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And I am here picture in picture with Daunte Bacheyie, the wide receiver 2025 incoming for college football. And he is currently at my alma mater of Christian Brothers Academy in Syracuse, New York. Him and I have the same haircut. You just can't see mine because there's a little bit of light on this side. But Daunte Bacheyie here with us, wide receiver for Christian Brothers Academy. And like I said, a 2025 prospect for college football. Daunte, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. And Daunte, first and foremost, congratulations on being a part of a team that just celebrated a 2023 New York State title in high school football. Big time congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. How was it? How was the experience for you? You're one of the younger guys in this. You got a couple years to go. So, some of the guys for the 2021 New York State title team back on the 2023 team. You're one of the younger guys here on the squad. So how did you experience this and kind of go through it personally when it comes to this run in 2023?
Yeah, it was great because I wasn't on the 2021 team that won the state, but I was at CBA when they won. It was definitely cool, and I wanted to win one since I knew that we could with all the star players, all the great athletes that we have on our team. But when we won that, it was a great feeling because we all worked so hard to get there. We were there practicing lifting for almost a year before that. It was really a great moment to see that all our hard work paid off.
And like you said, not part of the 2021 team. What did the guys tell you about 2021? Did they reflect on it at all going through this run in 2023, saying, this is what we learned from it, this is what it takes? Was there any conversation about building off of that, or was there no conversation on the past?
Um, there wasn't really a conversation. Like we know we wanted to win a double A title, but I think it's just different because the competition's just a little bit more difficult in the double A. So I know a couple of my friends and teammates, they definitely said it felt better winning at the higher level, but it was still a great feeling for both.
Yeah, so you had this opportunity, like you were talking about 2021 was in Class A and
Hmm.
2023 in Class Double A. So you get to be a part of this. You're part of a receiving core that features a ton of guys, including Syer Torrance as well as Darian Williams this season. There's been some awesome guys that have come through in recent history. What have you taken away from the receiving core and working with the guys that you're working with at CBA?
I think it's really just like we each push each other to be better every day because I don't think if it wasn't for them, I'd be in this position because I always have to try to work harder than them. So that's what I would say. Yeah.
You say you wouldn't be in the position without them because you feel like you always have to work harder. Why do you feel like you always have to put in hard that much more work, so to speak?
Just because I don't think I would be in the starting position because there's always people working harder below me if I wasn't working hard enough to be where I am.
Being where you are, let's go back. Let's take some time to kind of jump in the DeLorean is what I would call it if you know back to. Do you know Back to the Future or no?
Yeah, I do. I watched a couple of the movies.
Thank God, Dante. Thank God, because that would have really hurt my heart if you didn't. So let's get in the DeLorean. Let's go back in time. Do you remember your first football moment when you really were like, "Hey, I like this thing. I think this is something that I might have to do."
Like my first. What do you mean by that? Like,
Like your first memory of football, and they could be two different things. Your first memory of being on the field playing, and then the first moment that you realized, I think that this could really be something for me for my future.
I think that the moment I really realized I liked football was because I never played Pop Warner, and I started in seventh or eighth grade at Oneida. I wasn't in CBA yet, so and I came to CBA at ninth. So yeah, I think that's what made me. I think that's when I knew I loved the sport. But um, I think I when I knew I was getting really good at the sport was actually over this past summer when I started working with my coach Bruce and going to the camps. I I was doing really good. That's how I have to say.
So, like you said, I mean, coming into CBA and not having been there before for a little bit of time, why did you want to come to Christian Brothers Academy? What was it about that? Because I mean, obviously, if you're going to a public school, you go to the school in your area. But at Christian Brothers Academy, it's a school where there are people from all over, and
Yeah.
you have the opportunity to really get a unique education, which I obviously know what that's
Hmm.
all about and whatnot. Why CBA? Why did you and your family make the decision for you to go over to CBA?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. I think one of the main ones was for the education because at the time I didn't really think football was going to be that much of a serious thing for me. But I think that another reason of why is I'm pretty sure you know who Riley Dixon is, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, he's actually in the summer he's my he's one of my neighbors, and he's best friends with my stepbrother, and see him all the time, and he always talked to me about CBA, and that's probably one of the ways that that's really how I found out about CBA. But then my parents looked into it more, and yeah.
So Riley Dixon just promoting this thing to you over time. What did he say about Christian Brothers Academy? When you said I found out about it about Riley Dixon, he's promoting it and whatnot. What was his push? What was his selling point? What did he say about the school?
I think his main point was how definitely the education, but it was just how everyone is connected, and it's not like public schools where it's like there's like groups of people that like other people. I think CBA is just like one like big family, I think, and that's what he liked about CBA most.
Riley Dixon, a punter, went to Syracuse. After going to Syracuse, has since been in the NFL. I've spent time with him in the NFL. Have interviewed him there. He's been with the Giants. He's been with the Broncos. What does that mean to you that the guy that was talking to you about going to Christian Brothers Academy is now in the National Football League and has stayed in the National Football League?
Yeah, I think that it's a pretty big deal to know someone that's in the National Football League, but for him to know me on like a more personal level, that I think that's what really made me want to go there. Because I knew him when he was at Syracuse. It was before he went to the NFL,
Yeah.
and yeah.
So, how would you describe Riley Dixon as somebody who's never met him before? How would you
Mhm.
describe his personality?
Oh, I think if you like just met him as a human being, you wouldn't even know he's in the NFL. He's just such a humble human being. He's the nicest person. I actually go fishing with him sometimes.
Who's a better fisherman, you or him?
I think he has me by a little bit.
All right. Have you gone out and fished for a long time in your life? Is it something new that you're doing?
Um, I say since I was like 10. I don't do it a lot. I just do it when I'm like I have free time, and in the summer I don't really like to be cold, so yeah.
What can you say is your favorite fishing moment? Your favorite catch, whatever it be when you're out there fishing, do you have a favorite moment?
Um, I think it's probably I think my best fishing like time was I got to go one time in Florida, and that was fun because it's different. It's always warm there, and the fish are different from here.
Yeah, I think the fish are happier because they're warmer.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
So, you're up here, you're in central New York, you come to Christian Brothers Academy, Riley Dixon, a big, selling point here of why you should go there. Was it everything that he said it was? Was it better? Was it different? Now that you've experienced CBA, what's it been like?
Yeah, I think it definitely was everything that he said it was. Because like I said, I didn't think I was going to be in this position, but I think I think it was really a great choice, not just because of football, but just for the education and the connections and all the people I know.
And we look at this, you had mentioned, speaking of the connections, the people that you know, the coaching staff that is at Christian Brothers Academy. You're working closely with Bruce
Hmm.
Williams, the offensive coordinator, also the wide receivers coach. You're a wide receiver. What has it been like to work with Bruce? Why is it special? Why is it unique? What is the Bruce Williams factor?
I think the most important thing is because he's been in our place. He's played at CBA, so he knows what it takes, and he definitely is. He's good at motivating us. He always pushes us. He's another reason why I am where I am today. And he's always pushing me and Darian to be better than each other and Sire.
With Sire moving on,
Hmm.
how bittersweet is that? I mean, you're the CBA brothers, you're a family, so you're supposed to actually be like brothers. What is it going to be like to have one of your brothers move on? You and Darian have to step up.
Hmm.
Have you thought about it? Is there emotion to that? Is it a tough thing to kind of stomach with Cy moving on? How are you kind of going through the ebb and flow of emotion, knowing that you have to step up as a leader and at the same time, missing one of your brothers who's heading off to college.
Yeah, I think it's definitely gonna be hard at the beginning getting used to it. Not just him. It's gonna be him, Jason, and Jameer. three offensive starters. I think that's really going to be the toughest part. But I do think because I got really close with them over this past season because everything, all the hard work we put in together and stuff like that. But I'm definitely gonna miss him.
What did he teach you? Is there something that Cy has helped you with that lives on with you today?
I think the most like he definitely helped with my confidence because from my sophomore year to my junior year, my confidence went up a lot, and I think it was him and Bruce that really helped me gain my confidence because they told me that it doesn't matter what other people think of you. It's just play how you know you can play and do it to the best that you can do it.
Did you care about that? I mean, was that something here with Daunte Bacheyie here with me, a 2025 wide receiver coming from CBA Syracuse? Is that something that you had to work on? Confidence? Did
Oh
you?
yeah, definitely. That was probably the biggest thing that helped my game from my sophomore to junior year because it was really like the constant concentration. I would always try and turn too fast, or I'd get nervous when the ball was thrown to me. But now I don't even think about it anymore. It's just I go through the motions. I catch the ball, I turn, and I run.
When you look at your game, like you said, not really thinking about that anymore. Mental toughness, the mentality of everything, right? When you can prepare for a test, but if you don't think you're going to be good at it, if you get in your own head and say, I'm a failure, I'm not going to be successful, then you will fail. If you watch a ton of film and you work out and you run and you do everything you need to do, and you say, I'm not a good wide receiver, I'm not going to be able to beat this guy, then you will fail. So, how do you stay mentally tough? How do you not care? Because you brought up a great thing, not caring what other people think, not caring what other people say. How do you get to a point of mental toughness? How did you get to where you are today? And what can you say about being a positive voice in your own head?
I think even if you do make a little mistake, I think the most important part is not letting it stick in your head. If you do drop something, if you do run the wrong route, or if you miss a block, something like that, I
Yeah.
think the most important thing is just letting it go. Because you can't rewind, you can't go in the back in the DeLorean, you can't go back and redo the play. So I think it's the most important thing is just moving on, playing hard the next play, and what my coach told me is to go 1-0 every play.
How quickly do you let go of the last play?
Well, I think if it's like a drop, I'll be like, I should have caught that because most of the time when I drop something, I know what I did wrong. It's either I close my hands too quick or I turn too fast. And I said just look it in next time. And that's really it with that. And blocks, I think blocking is really a mental thing. It's because if you think the other person's like stronger than you, faster than you, or is he gonna beat you? Obviously, he's gonna beat you because you're not in the right state of mind.
Yeah, so I mean, and you brought up blocking as a wide receiver. There's the thought about the wide receiver that you just want to get out there, you want to get the ball, you want to score, you want to get in the end zone. But blocking is such a huge part at the overall success of the offense, the overall success of the team. How much do you enjoy blocking? How would you describe yourself as a blocker? I'd love to get that piece of it because there's a lot of receivers that can catch balls, but
Yeah,
there's a fewer number of receivers that can catch balls and are willing to put their bodies on the line to try and get the running back farther, the quarterback farther, or break an opportunity for a fellow receiver or tight end.
yeah. I think I won't say I like blocking, but I don't have a problem with it anymore. I used to be like, oh, I want the ball, I want this, but I just thought about it and like, as long as we're doing good as a team, and I know it's like film for me, I think it's blocking. I think it's, in my opinion, it's more important than catching the ball because, like you said, there's a lot of receivers in this country that can catch the ball.
Yeah.
But I think there's only like a select few that can really block and hold the blocks for a while. And I think that's one of the main things that separates me from other receivers and tight ends.
Here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and this Spotlight Special with Daunte Bacheyie here with us, a wide receiver 2025 on CBA Syracuse. What is a better feeling for you? scoring your own touchdown or
Uh-huh.
blocking and seeing one of your guys blow by you and scoring a touchdown by the help of your block?
I think it depends on the situation.
Okay.
I think obviously if it was like a game-winning touchdown, everyone would want that. But I do think in like a normal game, if it's like a close game and I know I just made the key block, I think I it would feel better making that key block. Because I don't think touchdowns are everything in stats. I think it's what you do when you don't get the ball, even if you're not blocking. If it's running a route and you're open, you don't get the ball. That's one thing that I had to work on too.
Who taught you that? Who taught you, hey, touchdowns aren't everything. It's about what you're doing every single play. Who taught you that?
I think the two people that taught me that the most are Coach Kaz and Bruce. They told me that it's not always about getting the ball. It's about being a good teammate and always being there for your teammates and brothers.
We talked about Bruce. Speak with me on Coach Kaz, just what it is that he's done for you, how he's made you better, and just to go a little bit deeper into that relationship.
Yeah, I've known him for 2 years now. I've gotten really close with him too. I think it was him and Bruce are the two that really like saw my potential and told me that I could be what I am right now. But they've always told me to keep working harder to get to a higher point, and I think that's the one thing that I'm always gonna keep with me, and that I'm always gonna work harder. And yeah, that's my relationship with Coach Cass.
Your head coach, Casey Brown, what type of effect has he had on you? What has he done to elevate you, not just as a football player, but as a young man? What would you say about Casey Brown?
I think he definitely has had a great impact on me. He definitely taught me some good things, football and in the real world. He's always when I'm about to meet a coach, he always checks on me and makes sure my shirt is tucked and my tie is tied and my shoes are laced. So yeah, I think that's what he teaches me the most is the life skills, just as much as what he teaches us on the football field.
I hear a lot about this. Make sure your tie is tied, make sure the shirt's tucked in, make sure that you are shaking hands in a way that is memorable, shake hands the right way. Bring me a little bit deeper into that, the importance that this staff puts on the first impression, from shaking a hand to looking somebody in the eye to everything you do in those few moments that you have to go just a little bit more into the CBA way of teaching how to have a first impression.
Yeah, our coaches say that you can't redo a first impression, so it's always important to to be presentable and look the best that you can. Because if you come with your tie loose, your top button not buttoned, and your shoes unlaced, and your shirt's hanging out your sweater, then the coach is gonna be like, this kid doesn't care, or he doesn't want to meet with me. He doesn't care enough to tie his shoes or make sure his tie is tied. But I think that's what our coaches drive into us the most off the field.
Yeah, and I think it's huge, what this coaching staff does and what you're taught at Christian Brothers Academy. There's a certain way of carrying yourself, right? There's a certain way that when you show up to a game and you're wearing, a suit and tie, or you're
Mm.
wearing a shirt and tie, or your shirt and tie and sweater, and you got your dress pants on and whatnot. Do you feel like it makes it feel more like a business, more like, I mean, I've always had the sense of when you put on those clothes, it feels like, okay, this is more serious, it's
Mhm.
professional. You kind of feel it more in your bones when you put those clothes on. Is that safe to say with you, or how do you take it?
Yeah, I think it does because yeah, it definitely does feel more professional because I think if you were coming to your game and you get off the bus and you see kids in pajama pants and sweatpants, you'll be like, they're not organized. They have no organization as a team. They're not gonna be uh a good like organization in general. That's what I think our coaches think about it. I think there was only one game that we were allowed to not wear a blazer, and it was because we had to get on the bus at like 6. So, but we had to wear a CBA shirt, so it wasn't like a full dress down, basic.
Yeah, so I mean, you had that. You've obviously had the experience of professionalism. There's a certain way of carrying yourself, and that helps you on and off the field. Looking at your education at Christian Brothers Academy, which I understand all too well, being an alum, favorite subject, least favorite subject. I gotta know. We all got a favorite. We all got that
All
one
right.
that tests our metal. So, what's your favorite? What's your least favorite?
I think my favorite subject right now, and like right now, we're just like throughout my whole
Let's do
CBA.
right. Let's do right now. We can do right now.
Right now, my favorite class is probably engineering. I like doing like the 3D modeling and the 3D printing. I think it's like it's cool. But my least favorite is probably physics. It's pretty hard.
It's so
I,
hard.
yeah, I know.
Physics is, I will tell you this. So I took physics at CBA, and
Hmm.
when I took physics, I we were told, hey, because obviously in New York you had to take the regents, so we were supposed to take the regents, but they said if you pass the final from our teacher told us if you pass my final, you don't have to take the regents. And I was like, okay, like we got to do this, got to pass this final. I'm going to tell you what I did. I don't know if you should take this advice, but I'm going to tell you what I did. This is exactly what I did. So I went into the class. Physics was so difficult, so
Yeah.
hard. People don't understand the math of it and just like the craziness of it. So I go into physics class. I sit down. I'm nervous, right? I got a little,
Hmm.
pain in my stomach, little bubble in the stomach, and I'm sitting down and I'm getting ready to write. I put my name on the paper and I'm feeling that anxiety, just that stress. And I put my name on the paper, I'm dating the paper, and all of a sudden my favorite movie started playing in my head, Liar Liar. Now, it's with Jim Carrey. If you haven't watched it, you need to go watch it.
All right.
It was playing in my head. I'm not kidding with you. The beginning of the movie all the way to the end credits. I got to the end of the test, and the end credits are rolling, and I'm trying to finish the test before the end credits stop in my head because it had calmed me down. I got like a
Mhm.
98 on this. I still don't
Wow.
know what I answered, what I said. I just blacked out and had this movie. I'm writing things down. I'm laughing in my head because of what I'm seeing. But I got a 98, never had to take the Regent. So all I'm going to tell you is if you run into any type of stress, anxiety, or an upset stomach, study your butt off. And when you get there in the morning, I don't think about your favorite movie. I don't know. It worked for me.
All
So,
right.
so engineering. I mean, here's the thing. I didn't have that when I was
Hmm.
at CBA. So I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you say this, and I'm like, what the heck? Like that sounds like a great 3D models and all this stuff that you get to do. We did
Yeah.
not have that class. So
Yeah.
describe to me this, how did you, what grade are you taking it in? Can you take multiple engineering classes?
Uh,
is it just like a one-shot deal for engineering? What is it?
no. You can take it as a junior or a freshman. I mean, a junior or a senior.
Okay.
But if you take it as a junior, you can take engineering too. So yeah, and it's really cool because like it's not like you build stuff in person. It's like 3D modeling on a computer,
Yeah.
and if you want to print it, you can. That's all. It's all done at school. It's really fun. I think it's more interesting than it is fun. But I'm definitely gonna take it next year.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. Christian Brothers Academy should have probably done that a couple of years ago. But I'm just saying. So let's get into your recruitment side of things. And much love to you, CBA. You know that. So you get your first offer from Syracuse, and then you get offers from Pitt and BC. All
Hmm.
Northeast schools so far. You got plenty of time in your recruitment here, but you got three Northeast schools, quality schools. Boston College has recruited Syracuse in the central and upstate New York area. Pittsburgh has recruited the area very well. We have seen CBA alumni leave and go to Boston College. Sire is going there now. We've seen people
Hmm.
go to Pitt, like recently Servassier Dennis, who's now in the NFL. And Syracuse, thank goodness, is now starting to recruit locally a little bit. You're
Hmm.
on this list, this short list of people that they're looking to. What does it
Yeah.
mean to you that when this new staff came in, I've been banging the drum that Syracuse needs to recruit locally, needs to find the kids here, keep the kids here in our community of Central and Upstate New York and the state of New York in general. Daunte, your name is on a very short list of Fran Brown's staff
Hmm.
reaching out to the backyard of Syracuse, Central, and Upstate New York. What does that mean to you?
Oh, it's definitely like it's a great feeling to know that you're part of a select few that is being reached out to by a such a great program like Syracuse. The one of the coaches actually came to see me, Darren, and Marquand the other day.
Yeah. Who came out to see you?
I didn't catch his name. He just came in and told us. He said, "Hey," he wrote our names down, our numbers, how much we weighed, and he told us that they're gonna be inviting us to come down soon.
So to see that, to have that, I know that in your recruitment, you've kept in touch with Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson was the wide receivers coach at Syracuse. He's now the tight ends coach and the co-offensive coordinator. What's been your relationship like with Michael Johnson? And he the one that told you got the offer?
Um, yeah, I've had a great relationship with him actually, because I've gone to a a good amount of the home games. I think I went to two last year,
Okay.
and he's always there to say what's up to me, and he talks with me for a little bit, and then he has to go do like warm ups, individuals, and all stuff like that. But he texts me a little bit outside of the games.
Did he give you how did you find out you got the offer from Syracuse? Bring us in to when it happened and paint us a picture of that moment.
Oh, it was actually pretty crazy. So it was the week that we were playing CNS, like I said,
Yeah.
and it was, I'll say, 3 to 2 hours before the game. I was getting my my tie tied. I was buttoning up my shirt. I was getting ready for the game, and my coach texted me a screenshot of Mike Johnson saying, "Just let Dante know that he's offered." And it was funny because he couldn't call me at the time because he was on a plane to I think they were playing North Carolina that week, or there was some team down south. And at first I was like, "So what does this mean?" He was like, "What do you think?" And I was like, "They really just offered me?" And then it was crazy. So they offered me, and literally like 5 minutes after that, Coach Underwood from Pitt called me, and he told me that that they were offering me.
And then how soon did Boston College come in?
It was probably 2 to 3 weeks after that.
So this has been quick. This has been Syracuse, Pitt right after Syracuse that day, and then Boston College a few weeks later. How have
Hmm.
you kind of handled that? That it's all just kind of jumped right in, and once Syracuse did it, Pitt did it, Boston College shortly after. So how have you kind of corralled your emotions and been really excited at the same time you got to work hard? So how have you
Hmm.
responded to all of this?
I think that it definitely gave me more of a confidence boost because it shows that all my hard work is paying off.
Yeah.
But also, I think the most important thing is to stay humble and not brag. And I think if you just saw me, you'd never know. I don't talk about it. I don't even like when people talk about it, to be honest. I could care less if the whole world knew or
So
not.
why is that? Why are you, hey, I could care less to talk about it. I could care less if everybody knows, if nobody knows. Why are you like that?
Because I don't think it's that important in life. I think the most important thing is how people see you as a person. I don't think they should base it off, oh, you're good at football, oh, you're going to you're gonna be playing at the next level. I think they should base it off like what kind of person you are, and then be like, oh, that's cool. You're going to play college football. I think that's the most important thing.
Well, Dante, I'll tell you this right now. This first time you've been on the show, you can come back anytime you want. And
Thank you.
yeah, of course, to have, I'm going to tell you this, and I want you to really hear this. In the world we live in today, the generation behind me, I'm 38, the generation behind me, and then, your generation down the line, there's a lot of people in these generations behind my generation that get a bad rap, right? That you guys, that you don't take personal responsibility, you don't work hard, you don't believe in having to do things in order to get money. You think it should just be handed to you. You love the accolades. You got giant egos. It's not
Hmm.
about who you are as a person. It's not about your character. I've met so many people that debunk those rumors. You being one of those people that did that here just now. The fact that you said, hey, the offers, obviously you appreciate them, you work hard, you want to play at the next level, get a good education. But for you to say, I care more about how people view me, view my character, view who I am as a person, than I care about them saying, wow, you're a really good football player. I just want to say this because this is aired all over the world. I want to publicly show that there is a young person here with me on camera today and is saying to you, it is not about the accolades. It is not about the clicks. It's not about the likes and the follows and the tweets and whatever. It's about who you are as a person, the character you are, the type of human being that you are when you're interacting with people and how you treat people. Daunte, I want to say thank you for that. And obviously, you have come from some good leadership in your life and some loving and caring people. But I just
Hmm.
wanted to take the time to say thank you because this world needs to know that there are many people in the future of this country and in the future of this world that, like yourself, are caring, hardworking, take the ego out, and just go out there and do the best you can. And the fact that
Hmm.
you said you want people to know who you are as an individual and know your character above everything else speaks volumes about you. And I just really want to say thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Where does it come from? Do we blame your parents? Do we blame,
Yeah,
who do
I
we
think
blame?
that
Who do we blame for this?
I think it's probably my mom the most important. She's always told me to be humble no matter what. And yeah, because I really don't think there's a point in bragging, just to be honest, because what do you get out of it? Making the other person feel bad? I really don't get it.
What's mom's first name?
Wendy?
Wendy. So
Yes,
Wendy, we want to shout out Wendy. We're going to spend a little Wendy time here. This is called a three-parter. This is for Wendy. Does Wendy cook?
sometimes. Yeah.
Sometimes. Okay. All right. So it's I had to ask because it's part of the question. So best meal that mom makes, Miss Wendy. So I want to know best meal she makes, best piece of advice she's ever given you, and your
Hmm.
favorite moment with mom so far.
I think the best meal, my favorite meal that she cooks is probably her meatloaf
Okay.
with a little bit of ketchup on the side. I think that's
Okay.
my favorite meal.
Let's go.
What was the other question? The
The
second
other
one?
ones were favorite piece of advice and favorite moment.
Oh, for favorite piece of advice, I definitely say it is to be humble because I think there's like so many different ways that you can use that. It's not even just with football. Even if you have, like I think it's same with money. If you have a lot of money, I don't think you should be, um, I don't know, showing it off. I
Yeah.
don't think you need multiple nice houses or nice cars. I think living a simple life is better, in my opinion.
Love that. Favorite memory with mom.
I think it was. I think I would say it definitely was the first day, the day that I got my first two offers, because she was always the one that believed in me, the one that was always there for me, even when I was at my lowest points, and she's always there, and she's always loved me. So yeah,
You said mom was always there at your lowest points. How did mom help to get you out of those?
I think by always being there to and telling me that she loves me and motivating me, really. She's always been the one who's motivated me the most. Whether even though it's like I wouldn't say in football, but I think just in life.
Yeah, Wendy sounds like a wonderful woman. I gotta Number one, this is something you gotta write down. Gotta meet
Hmm.
Wendy. That's gotta
Hmm.
happen. And Mom, I want some meatloaf. So,
Yeah.
and by the way, if you watched it, if you haven't, go ahead and watch it. But with head coach Casey Brown, I asked him who would play him in a movie, and he said his kids would probably say Will Ferrell. And I actually did the thing from Wedding Crashers where we both yelled out, "Mom, where's the meatloaf?" So I'm going to say it right now to you, Wendy, with all due respect. Wendy, Mom, where's the meatloaf? So I got to know. The fact that I can use that in two CBA specials is insane. So now we're going to do something fun here with Daunte Bacheyie. And what we're going to do here, 2025 wide receiver from CBA Syracuse. So 2025 is when he'll be heading into college football, and a 2023 New York State title champion here in high school football. We're going to play a thing called rapid fire. It could be about literally anything, no preparation. You can ask me 3 questions, anything in the world. I can ask you 3. You get to ask me the first question.
All right, let me think. First question: did you play football at CBA?
I did not. Okay, so it's a funny story. So I did not play football at CBA. I'm a basketball player.
Hmm.
I like football. I enjoy it. I play pickup games. But so I was in gym class. It's like ninth or 10th
Hmm.
grade. And I was running around. And I'm 5'8" now. At the time, I was probably 5'4", 5'5". And so I'm running around. I'm not, I'm like the little guy, whatever. And Brandon McInerney, big defensive lineman, he looked at me
Hmm.
and he was like, "Hey man," he said, "I'm going to talk to Coach Kaz. I feel like you would be a good running back." And he told me the coach. I never talked to Coach Kaz about it, but he told me that Joe Casmeno, the coach before Casey, Coach Kaz had said to him, "Tell him to gain 100 pounds." And I said, "No, thank you." So like, I was like, "Where am I going to put it?" I would have looked like a
Yeah.
tombstone. So to me, the funny thing about it was, so I interviewed Maurice Jones-Drew. I'm a Jaguars fan, and been interviewing the Jaguars for the better part of the last 13 years. I go into the locker room. I'm standing in front of Maurice Jones-Drew. I'm 5'8". He's 5'8". I'm a hair
Hmm.
taller than him, looking at him eye to eye. And I just
Uh-huh.
look at his 220-pound body, and I go, "That's what I would have looked like. I would have looked like a tombstone." And bless his heart, that man danced on his feet so lightly, being a tombstone. But I just remember going like, I don't want another 100 pounds on my body. So, I like muscle. I like to have, I like to have weight that is meaningful weight. So, I would have had to, it would have had to been mostly muscle that I'm putting 100 pounds on. I would not want to put on any type of fat in that
Hmm.
respect. But yeah, so I love playing pickup. I didn't play at CBA, but apparently Brandon thought I would be a good running back, and Coach Kaz thought I had to be a bigger boy. So I guess 100 pounds more. No, thank you. So
Yeah.
if I went back
Wow.
in time, I would still say no, thank you. All right, Dante, let's see here. Well, you're a tall guy. How tall are you? Once again,
All right. I'm 6'5".
6'5". God bless your heart. I'm 5'8". You can pick me up and we can dunk. So 6'5". Okay,
Hmm.
that's basketball stuff right there.
Yeah.
Are you okay? So I mean, obviously, football is a passion. Football is a love of yours. Where does
Hmm.
basketball fall in passions for you? Is it a
I
passion?
think I it was for a long time, but I think once I started playing football, I definitely I my passion for football outgrew basketball. And right now I'm not playing basketball right now because I just wanted a little break because our season went extra long this year. And yeah, but I am lifting and I'm gonna do track in the spring.
Okay, all right. Lifting and track in the spring. I like it. What's your next question for me?
What's your favorite college team?
Syracuse. I mean, it's my
Syracuse.
hometown.
Yeah.
So, Cuse is in the house. Oh my God. It's actually, let me see here if I can turn this the correct way. Yeah, there you go. So it's right over my shoulder here. My little Cuse is in the house. Oh my God. But yeah, I would say that yeah, I mean it's Syracuse. I get to know a
Mhm.
lot of guys around the country in the world of football, so I cheer on them. And there's some teams that have near and dearness. to my heart over the years. But yeah, I mean, Syracuse is it's home. So love me some Syracuse.
Yeah.
All right. All right, Daunte. Do you watch movies, Daunte?
Um, I'll watch a movie every now and then.
Okay.
I don't just watch them. I think when there's a new movie, I'll go and see it, or if it's on demand, I'll watch it.
Do you watch Marvel?
Oh yeah, I've watched those.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So if you could be in any Marvel character's movie, what superhero movie would you want to be in, and who would you be? So, I mean, you could say, hey, I want to be in the Iron Man movie, but I want to be Captain America. So, what movie would you want to be in of the ones that you saw, and what character would you play?
That's a good question. I think that if I was to be in a movie, I would want to be in like the Avengers, one of the Avengers movies, and I would want to be Iron Man probably because who doesn't want to have that suit?
And who doesn't want to have the goatee, you know?
Yeah.
You got to get the goatee right. So, I like it. Good answer. What's your final one for me?
What's your favorite meal that your mom's ever cooked for you?
Oh man, mom's a good cook. Mom's great. So my mother's name is Debbie. So
Mhm.
shout out to my mom. Debbie and Wendy getting some love today. So deservedly so. I would say my favorite thing that my mom probably, I mean, growing up as a kid, definitely when I was at CBA, my mom made this thing called turkey rolled.
Hmm.
And it was like a mini Thanksgiving. And she would get deli turkey and she would have stuffing and she put the stuffing in the middle of the turkey. She'd roll the turkey around the stuffing. She'd put it in the oven and have just like rows of these turkey rolls with stuffing inside of them. Put gravy over it, put them in the oven, and then she'd have mashed potatoes and corn. I would always mix my mashed potatoes and corn, have the turkey stuffing, gravy on top, and it was like this mini Thanksgiving that you could have any time of the year. And I don't think there's like ever been a time, including right now, that I wouldn't like eat that. If my mom, I feel like I'm gonna get off the air and be like, Mom, you got to make a turkey roll. Like you got to do
Yeah.
it. I talked to Daunte, and we got to do it. You know, but she's a sweetheart. My mom would make it, and if I said, Mom, I want some turkey rolled, she'd be like, All right, honey, I'll see you at 5:30. Like that's my mom.
Yeah,
So
that sounds really good.
no, it's so good. So I'd say that's my favorite. All right, Daunte, let's do this. So you're going to make a time capsule.
Hmm.
So you're going to take a sheet of paper.
Hmm.
You're going to write one piece of advice on that sheet of paper, and you're going to put it in the time capsule for someone to find 10 years from now. What advice is somebody opening in 2034 from Daunte Bacheyie?
I think that my advice would be to always follow your dreams, no matter even if it seems too hard to like achieve or to get to that point, because I think that hard work is probably the most important thing that you can have as a human being, because that you that's not even just on the football field. I think that's important in life, as even like with a job or in school especially.
Well, the thing about hard work is you can control it.
Yeah.
You can control how much you do, how much you give. The only thing that you can control in your life is you. How you react, what you say, what you do. That's all you. Everything else, outside noise, belongs outside, and you can't control it. You can't control if somebody says, Daunte, you're not good at this, you can't do that. If someone's booing you when you're out on the field, if someone's giving you a tough time on social media, you can't
Hmm.
control that.
Yeah.
What you can control is I'm going to tell you three things you can control. You can control yourself. You can control your absolutely incredible way of working back in the DeLorean to our conversation. And you can control saying, Mom, I got to get some meatloaf. So
Yeah.
those are the things you can control. But Daunte Bacheyie here on the show. CBA Syracuse 2025 wide receiver, already with offers from Syracuse, Pitt, and Boston College. First offer coming from Syracuse, New York, right down the road from CBA. Daunte, this is our first one. I would love to have you back. My absolute
definitely.
pleasure.
I'd love to be back on the show.
I would love to have you back on the show. So I want to say thank you for your time. Please give my family my absolute best, and thank you so much for being the young man that you are. It's definitely a breath of fresh air that when you're growing up and you're learning things in life, and you see people that are growing up and going through things that you went through, to hear the type of vision that you have and the morals and the values and the things you care about, it's just really heartwarming to hear that. And I hope that you know that this conversation today could very well be an inspiration for someone of any age. And I just want to say thank you for that.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Avicolli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicolli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicolli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic morning this morning, coming off of our conversation with Daunte Bacheyie, 2025 wide receiver out of CBA in Syracuse, my alma mater. Big shout out to Daunte Bacheyie and all the work that he is doing, and that awesome conversation about his family. Shout out to Mom. Shout out to Turkey Rolled, which is absolutely incredible and I got some in my fridge thanks to Mom. So big shout out to my mom and to his mom and to all the great parents out there and guardians taking care of the future of God's world. God bless you all. Appreciate you very much. So I did put up a poll we put up polls on X all the time. Make sure you join us on X. There it is. X at CallDT. That's CALLDT. Join us on X and vote in our polls. I try to put up polls every week or every couple weeks, and put up a bunch of polls here recently. One of them being yesterday because, people are already back on that McDermott, they don't want him, send him out, da-da-da-da-da. So I put up a poll, and I wanted to get your votes, and the votes already came in. It was a 24-hour poll, and I'm going to it right now to see what you chose here. So the poll was, here it is. Do you want Sean McDermott to be the head coach for the Buffalo Bills in the 2024-25 season? So this upcoming NFL season, do you want Sean McDermott to stay the coach of the Buffalo Bills? 57% of you said no. 43% of you said yes. And so my question to you is, then who do you want to be your coach? Do you call Bill Belichick? Do you go out there and look collegiately? Is it a Mike Vrabel thing? Who do you want to be the coach of the Buffalo Bills, pardon me? Because, listen, folks, we're in this place where you lose a game or two, and listen, they've struggled against the Chiefs. Many teams have struggled against the Chiefs, and they didn't win against the Chiefs. They fired the offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey. They brought in Joe Brady. Well, they allowed Joe Brady to be the OC, the new OC, so they gave him that position. The team ended up being the number one rushing offense in the nation in the move to put Joe Brady as the new offensive coordinator, albeit temporarily, potentially, or maybe long-term. But people want Sean McDermott gone. And here's the thing. I'm not really seeing that they want Josh Allen gone because I don't know if the team wins 4 games without Josh Allen. But every single year that the Buffalo Bills have played in these last few seasons in the postseason, they have lost a key defensive player and didn't have them available in the postseason. The Micah Hydes, the Matt Milanos, the DeMar Hamlins of the world, and so on and so forth. And when you lose those pieces defensively, when you're playing a team against the Chiefs and you have to play almost perfect football, these are things that kind of sit with you. And then you look at the wide receiving core, and the wide receiving core has changed over time. Stephon Diggs, I don't see Stephon Diggs as... It's been an up and down and around the corner relationship. I'm not a big fan of how he was, especially early on in the season. His struggles, showing them on the side of the field. Again, like Arthur Smith, not controlling your emotions. Everybody has emotions. Everybody gets upset. Everybody has times where maybe we're going to say something that we're going to regret later or do something we're going to regret later, and you have to have the self-control to pull yourself back and say, instead of doing this thing I'm going to regret, even if I'm feeling this way right now, I'm going to take a step back, I'm going to walk away, I'm going to think about things, and then I'm going to come back to it. And, I don't know if people necessarily do that enough, and Stephon Diggs did a lot of stuff that was on camera, and, celebrating touchdowns by himself, being by himself, not around Josh Allen, not around the other receivers. And so, do I think that the ultimate long-term for this team is to keep Stephon Diggs? I don't necessarily think that that's so. I think Buffalo needs to do a few things. I think they need to improve their run defense and maybe get some depth there at linebacker. I think that, improve it. And listen, Greg Rousseau, a healthy Matt Milano, Ed Oliver, DeMar Hamlin coming back is just phenomenal. There's guys on the defensive side of the ball that have done a tremendous job, but you got to do better in your run defense, right? You got to be able to perform better in your run defense, and outside of performing better in your run defense, there's other things that you have to do. I think they need to look for a true number one wide receiver. I think they might have to look for 2 wide receivers. They might want to trade Stephon Diggs and maybe trade away Gabe Davis and then look at bringing in 2 new guys to help you with that. You got Dawson Knox and you have Dalton Kincaid. You got 2 tight ends that give you a lot of value. I think either one of them can be a number 1 tight end. Dawson Knox has done some good things. Kincaid as a rookie has been tremendous already. And you have both of those guys So I think your offensive line's done some good things. I think that, obviously finding James Cook, which I told you guys about when they drafted him, and now people are so high on James Cook, but I was high on Cook when he came into the league, coming from Georgia, winning a national championship. So, you have James Cook, you have Dawson Knox, you have Dalton Kincaid, you have Josh Allen, you got pieces on the defense. I think they're going to look for a new kicker. So I think they come into next season, and I don't wish bad on anybody. And listen, kickers, people say you have one job. That's all you have to do is just make the field goal and let's go home. People don't understand how high octane of a situation that is, okay? It's the same thing with Josh Allen. Why didn't he make that throw or that throw or that throw or that throw on the final drive? So Tyler Bass misses one field goal, but Josh Allen missed a bunch of passing opportunities. So, you don't want to get rid of Josh Allen. So I think with Tyler Bass or with any kicker, people need to understand that being hateful is never going to be good. Whatever you put into the world eventually comes back to you. So if you're a hateful person, you will get hate. If you're a loving person, you will get love. If you put good into the world, good will come out. If you put bad into the world, you might have something come out that you're not really happy to see or looking forward to seeing. If you walk around the world with spikes on, you might eventually get pricked by that spike. You might get cut by that spike. But if you walk around with, this comforting, loving light, I think you find that. I think you attract what you are, you attract what you think about, you attract what you believe. And I just want to caution people sending death threats and negative messages to Tyler Bass. Yes, he missed a field goal. No, he typically doesn't. And it's an extremely hard situation to be in. I can't imagine what was going through his head. I can't imagine how hard his heart was pumping, knowing that, this team never beats the Chiefs. They're always our Achilles heel. We don't typically get past them. All these people are watching me. They want me to make this field goal so we can tie the game and at least go into overtime. I mean, he may not be with the team next year, and I don't anticipate that he will be, but that's not me wishing bad on him. That's not me hoping he doesn't have another job. That's me looking at it from an impartial perspective, breaking down the situation. But I just hope that you all are not being negative and hateful and sending mean messages to Tyler Bass, things that you would not want to come to your doorstep or to your kid's doorstep or to your parents or to your grandparents or to your friends. So, just be kind. He missed a field goal. Be kind. He missed a field goal. Be kind. I'm going to keep saying it until people get it. But, I don't see Tyler Bass there next year. I don't necessarily. I think they need to shake up something in the wide receiving core. And I think that they need to work on their run defense. They're not far away. There's just certain things that they need to handle. Isaiah Pacheco, I kept saying, I'm waiting for the game. I'm waiting for the game. I'm waiting for the game. That he was going to get back to doing some really good things. Isaiah Pacheco has been one of those guys that he comes in. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was drafted, early in the draft and comes out of LSU, and there's high expectations, and it didn't work out, and things weren't going that well. So they look for another guy. They get Isaiah Pacheco. He comes out of nowhere. He ends up being a strong, talent in their backfield, but he has moments where he kind of fades away. And then I didn't think these last few games have been great. And so I was waiting for him to break out. I was waiting for him to take over. I was waiting for him to have one of those games where people are like, oh my gosh, how do we prepare for Isaiah Pacheco? And he had that game, and he had it against the Buffalo Bills. He did what he needed to do. He needed a couple downs, barely any time, to make sure that they could just take a knee and get out of Buffalo and head on to the AFC Championship game against the Ravens. So, they need to improve that run defense. And if Matt Milano's out there, maybe it's a different thing, but I think in general you need to improve that run defense, and you got to look at wide receiver. And I'm going to be putting those polls up. Do you want to keep Stephon Diggs? Do you want to build around him, or do you want somebody else to be there? Good morning to Alan. Good morning to Melanie. Thank you for watching and listening. Good morning to Greg. Good morning to everybody that's out there. Let's see what we got here. My brother-in-law, now a lecturer at Marywood, teaching biblical themes, making a difference with the future leaders and young minds. Shout out to your brother-in-law, and shout out to my alma mater of Marywood University. And so always some good messages coming on here in the feeds. If you would like to write to our feeds, which I don't know why you wouldn't, they'd be free to do. All you have to do is, while you're watching and listening from around the world, to click onto those feeds, click onto those areas. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you're on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, click subscribe and shoot us a message in the feed. Facebook.com/wakeupcalldt. You can click follow. I think it's follow now, like, follow. You can do whatever on our page. And we hit a milestone with the amount of followers that we have. Thank you so much for your support. We have over 5,000 people now, which is incredible because we've done most of this with grassroots. Facebook.com/wakeupcalldt. And I say most of it. I think I took out a Facebook ad to promote the show a couple times, but most of this has come from you just all being awesome and watching our videos and liking us off of videos and articles and the shows that we've done and everything. So thank you so much for that love and support. wakeupcalldt.podbean.com is live internet streaming radio all over the world. There's a feed for that too. You can find us in the Podbean app by searching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora or one word Wake Up Call DT. So make sure you do that today. And thanks to everybody that's been writing into us today and all throughout time. I really do appreciate it tremendously. We're going to take a quick step aside for a fast break, talking a little bit about the Bills. I'm going to put some stuff on X, on our X account at CallDT, the former Twitter at CALLDT. Going to put that up there. What do you think about Stephon Diggs? What do you want to see the Buffalo Bills change? That type of stuff. So make sure you check that out, especially to all my Bills fans. And, of course, in the 24 hours, you said you would rather not have Sean McDermott be your head coach. 57% of you saying no, 43% saying, yeah, he could be my head coach next season with the Buffalo Bills. So we'll take a step aside. Gene Waldron's going to be joining me right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Well, welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Happy to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where sports meets that thing called life. I am always honored and privileged to have Mr. Gene Waldron on the broadcast with me. Gene Waldron coming to you from Syracuse Orange basketball history, and he has come back into our community over these years. He continues to help people, train people, live in that basketball world. He's done a tremendous job in the community to pay it forward. He has been wonderful in the history of Syracuse University and in Syracuse and upstate New York. And more than anything else, personally for me, I get to call him a friend, and beyond that, you know, a brother. And as I always say when Gene comes on, we're not brothers, we're brothers. So because Gene's always got that downstate New York accent that I love. So Genie's here with us this morning to speak on Syracuse then and now. Mr. Waldron, how we doing?
Pretty good. You know, today is it's about 30-something degrees, so we got a heat wave because these last couple of days, boy, it was so cold. Very, very cold. But other than that, doing okay. Now, I just have to tell you, Dan, you're going to have to just mind if my dogs start barking because you know how they are.
Yeah, I do. So I do know how the dogs are for sure, and I know that you're a big fan of your dogs, big fan of having dogs in the house, and so am I as well. Share with everybody that doesn't know, because I want to shout them out. They shout themselves out during the broadcast usually, but give us what type of dogs you have and their names, because I know how much I love Lily, so I want to do a little dog shout out today.
Okay, so I have Denali. Denali is a Pitt Chow Chow mix. He's 7 years old. He's about 75 pounds. And then you have the missus over here, Holly, who's about 120 pounds. She's a Great Pyrenees Alatonian Shepherd. She tries to rule the house, but I'm the boss.
Well, are you the boss or Mrs. Waldron?
Don't say that too loud. Yes, Mrs. Waldron. My wife is the boss. I said that wrong.
And Jeannie, we always know that you're eating good in the house. What's been, you and I didn't talk during the holidays. We didn't have you on the show here around Christmas time and whatnot. So I know that there's certain things that my family makes that my dad and I do together, my mom and I do together. What does Mrs. Waldron, what does she make for Christmas time? Is there a special dessert? Is there a special main dish that she puts out there? What's Christmas like in the Waldron house?
Well, you know what? This past Christmas, we had actually had prime rib, and then she makes something called as a twice baked potato. Oh my! I mean, you definitely want to put on a few pounds eating that, but that's what we had. But normally, she buys tons and tons of cookies, knowing that I'm not supposed to eat all that, but she buys them anyway. But yeah, this past Christmas we had a prime rib. We had prime rib, but it was good. We had a good time. I had the grandson here. The dogs had a little taste, but my wife, she's all over the place in terms of how she cooks. One day she'll do this, and one holiday she'll do that. She always likes to change it up, which is pretty good.
Yeah, and I know that you shared on your social media, eating healthy as well as taking care of your body, working out. I appreciate that you tag me in it. It's a constant inspiration for so many of us out there. Just what you could say about that, because not only, we're here in January. It's January 23rd at the time we're talking. Some people have already given up on their New Year's resolutions. Some people are retooling them, they're restarting them, or whatever that may be. So I think the one thing is, and I know this from my own quest of being healthy and doing certain things, is that when you want to do it, it takes 3 weeks, 21 days, my favorite number, to create a habit, and you can destroy that habit in an instant. So my question to you, Gene, is, number one, how do you get yourself motivated? And two, how do you stay motivated? Because I think people focus on, okay, I got to get off the couch, I got to eat better, I got to work out. But there's that, I'm going to do it on Monday and then not do it for 7 months. So how do you do it initially? And then more importantly, how do you stay consistent with taking care of yourself?
Well, for me, it was I had to change the way I was. I had to actually change the way I was living. I mean, because at one point when I started this journey over 2 years ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, I was close to 250, and I was just eating terrible. And then I decided that I have to change the way that I'm eating and get my health together because I've got some health. I'm type 2. You got cholesterol. My cholesterol was a little bit off. I went to go see my doctor. He's like, you got to start changing the way you live. He said, you ain't you're not running up and down that court anymore. So I just made a commitment to myself. The wife and I, we both made commitments to ourselves that we were just going to get healthy. And once you start and you start to see the results, you really don't want to stop. And I make a point to go on the days that I don't want to go. That also helps me, that I go on the days that I really don't feel like it, and I push myself to go. But once you start and get into a routine, because at the end of the day, to give yourself at least a chance at living better, you gotta exercise. But for me, it really starts in the kitchen. That's where it really starts. I mean, you can exercise all day, but if you're not doing what you have to do in the kitchen in terms of the way that you eat, you're just gonna fail. So I've been really focused on, making sure I do what I have to do in the kitchen, and I have my treat days. There's days that, I have, some stuff that I ain't supposed to eat, but, it's moderation. And like this morning, I got up at 6:30 this morning, went to the YMCA, swam about 50-something lengths. Now I came home and ready to do this interview.
Yeah, and I love seeing it. And like I said, it's so inspiring to go out there and to do things to help yourself and to, have a positive mindset and to have that love and that want to. I think, we live in a society, in a microwave society, where if it's not, if you throw it in the microwave and it's not done in a minute, my career needs to be ready in a minute, my love life needs to be ready in a minute, and then people get mad about the minute. Oh my gosh, I gotta wait a minute. Oh my gosh, well, how much time is left? 52 seconds. Oh my god, how much time is left? 47 seconds. What am I supposed to do with the rest of my life?
That's how we're living right now. People, I mean, it's like, oh, I need it right away. Oh, it's not a quick fix. Sometimes you have to go through the journey.
Right, and that's the thing, though, is like the journey is what makes you who you are. It makes the man, the woman, the woman. Like, to me, if you're not going through the journey, Gene, if it's just like, oh yeah, take this pill or go have liposuction or whatever that may be, or get some Botox in here, I feel like we're putting all this stuff onto us instead of just doing the work, and we're cutting corners. We're essentially going to class, taken a test on the book, but we read the cliff notes, and the spark notes, we never read the actual book. So even if we passed the test, we didn't learn anything from the book, and I think that that's something we need to focus on.
Absolutely, I totally agree.
So Gene Waldron here. Speaking of the book, you told me back in the day, and I was actually talking to a buddy about this last night. I said, why does Syracuse not run offensive plays? As I had said last year during Boeheim, the last few years during Boeheim, I said, why don't they run plays? And you joked and you said, when you played back in the 80s, you said, we didn't have plays back then. So when you look at this game, and we look at the most recent matchup, the buzzer beater against Miami at home in the Dome, with Judah Mintz, there's 18 seconds left. He's dribbling. He's at the top of the key. You can hear this like sound throughout the entire Dome that was all in unison of this like cheering, kind of like mid-range cheering. They don't want to be too loud. They want him to be able to hear, but they're still excited. Then we got down to 8 seconds, and the cheering turned into like more of a confusion of what is this man doing. And then they go to the right. And then he goes to the right. Quadir Copeland was, if you're looking at the basket, Quadir had come kind of toward the left side of the free throw line, and then when Judah goes out right, then we see Quadir fade back. Judah goes off to the side. You're thinking, what is this man going to do? He turns and launches this ball above everybody else's head. Q's there. He bangs the three at the buzzer. Bring me into that moment for you, having had all of your excitement and all of your special moments. The Dome opened back in 1980, so you got to open the Dome and celebrate that with everybody. So what was this moment like this time around when you watched this game in the Dome?
Well, it actually brought back really great memories, especially back for me, how the Dome was in terms of the atmosphere back in the 80s. The crowd was really into the game. It was just a great atmosphere. And I also, when you look at that play, it was a broken play. I mean, because Judah was supposed to get to the basket, but they really did a good job defensively, and he did a great job of finding Copeland open, and what a great shot. But I believe that, looking at that, it looked like it was a broken play to me. But the atmosphere was just phenomenal. You look at these last couple of home games that Syracuse had, the atmosphere has been phenomenal, and I hope it continues.
Why do you think the atmosphere has been like that? I mean, obviously, at the time that we're talking right now, and they have a game day today against Florida State at 7 o'clock, and we'll see you all in the Dome today, January 23rd. But before this game, they're 13-5. They have, a situation where they now have a winning record in the ACC play, so they've been up and down with that. So they got a winning record in the ACC. They won 13 of 18 games in Adrian Autry's first season as a head coach. Is it simply that? Is it simply the fact that they haven't lost a game in the Dome that fans are starting to show up? Why do you feel like the atmosphere in the Dome, because I agree, why do you feel like the atmosphere in the Dome is starting to feel like it used to feel back when I was a kid, back when you were playing? Why do you think that that's happening?
Well, I have to believe that, it's a new era. Coach Boeheim is not there anymore. We got a new coach. I think I would like to believe that, everybody's behind Autry, and, they want to give him a chance to show what he can do. But also, this was a long time coming. And I think, this is something new to the fans, and they're pretty excited about it. But how Syracuse fans can get real quick.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yes. And that's, I mean, I think seeing in this game, I mean, simply this one, talking about the one against Miami, it did feel like that. It was the first time where the students are back from vacation, so they had been gone for a month. And so seeing them come, which always makes me, it's like bittersweet, because the Beeville Bees band is so good. So when they're there during the vacation time, I love seeing them there. I love listening to them. And then,
You know what? They're really good.
They are, right?
They're really good.
And so, I mean, when they're there, it's awesome. But then they leave, and you're like, okay, but that means the students are coming back, but you still miss the Bees, who, by the way, are now going out to Lemoyne and doing Lemoyne games. And men's and women's basketball has been absolutely awesome to see them out there playing there. And so I actually got to see them again after all of this. So, I mean, when you look at that atmosphere, you look at the Dome, you go back to you opening up the Dome, you played back, 1980, 81 was your first season. So bring me into those moments. I mean, you got to do something that is so unique that'll never be done again, which is opening the doors to the Dome, having fans see basketball in the Dome. You leave Manley Fieldhouse, you go to the Carrier Dome at the time, and you start off this basketball world that is where we are today. What was that? I mean, obviously in the moment, you didn't know that. In the moment, you didn't know what this was going to mean. You didn't know if the building was still going to be here all this time later. But to reflect on it now, what is it like to be a part of the team that ushered in the Dome and ushered in the atmosphere and ushered in everything that people have now come to know historically, that you and your teammates started this?
Well, you know what? I can always remember my freshman year, and I was really excited about playing in the Carrier Dome. And I'll never forget this. I think it was our first home game, and we were running out, and I tripped, and I tripped, and I knocked, and some of the players fell too. And they were really angry at me because everybody saw like 3 players fall on the floor. And after the game, they put me in the cold shower because I tripped on a couple of upperclassmen. But, that atmosphere, when you look at these last couple of games, the atmosphere is just phenomenal. It almost feels like back in the Big East. Not quite, but somewhat. But you knew what the atmosphere was going to be back in our day because, you didn't have social media. Everybody was tuned into the game. Whereas sometimes, last year, you would go to some of the games and everybody was just on their phone, and no one's really was paying attention to the game. This is the most I've ever seen the fans be excited and enthusiastic and into the game for years. And, and I think that's a good thing. If they can keep that momentum, people are going to be afraid to come and play in the Carrier Dome because back in my day, teams were afraid to come to play in the Carrier Dome because the fans, student section, they were out of control. And you need to be to get, to back your team sometimes.
Yeah, and I want to go back to the first moment. November 29th, 1980, a crowd of 15,685 came to the Carrier Dome to see Syracuse basketball face Columbia. Do you remember that?
I wish I could. No, I do know that. We didn't lose.
But yeah, I mean, we go back and you look at that, and then you come to the time that we're at now, and Adrian Autry, and how do you? I mean, this is a brother. This is a member of the Syracuse team forever. There's something to be said, and I've witnessed it from talking to you and countless others that have played Syracuse basketball, just what this brotherhood is and how it's connected and how it spans the test of time. So to see one of your family members, one of your brothers, coaching the team in Adrian Autry, this is the first time he's ever been a head coach. He told me many years ago when we were doing a show together side by side, he said, I want to be a head coach. That's always been the plan. And to see him now in his first season at Syracuse, how do you feel he's doing as far as how he carries himself, how he's coaching during the game, how he is in the press conference? When we look at the Adrian Autry factor, what are your thoughts on his first season for a brother in the family of Orange history?
I'm impressed, but you can also see some of Coach Boeheim ways in him. A player make a mistake, boom, you're out. You're on the bench. You can see some of Coach Boeheim in him. And I'm excited at the fact that, he's trying to do it his way. You still see the zone a little bit. You still see that, you make a mistake. Sometimes he's right to that bench and you're out the game. But I also go to these games and I'm looking for Coach Boeheim to come out that tunnel, I'm still, looking for him to be on that bench, because I played for that man for 4 years, and he's been a really good person to me through the years. But to see what Autry's doing right now, you have to respect it and appreciate it and back him 100%.
Yeah, and like you said, it's bittersweet. It's different not having Jim Boeheim on the sideline somewhere that he was for 47 years. How have you kind of gone through this transition? Like you said, it's strange, but I mean, he was your coach. He was Adrian's coach. Felt like he was everybody's coach. So, when you look back on your time with him and you look back on all the time that he's been at Syracuse overall, how have you, do you go into the Dome and do you get emotional? Do you kind of keep yourself from looking at the bench sometimes? How have you personally kind of moved forward from saying, like, he's really not there? Like, this wasn't a Boeheim switcheroo. This wasn't a media thing. This wasn't a joke. This wasn't I said I'm gonna, but I'm not really gonna. How have you handled the fact that he actually isn't there?
Well, I was telling somebody just the other day that, I at times still get a little sad. You think about what that man done for Syracuse in the community, and what he's done at one school will never, ever, ever, ever be duplicated. Never. And sometimes, this, like I said to you just a minute ago, I was a little sad the other day, was thinking, wow. And then the last couple of games that I've gone to, I'm looking even in the stands to see, is he here somewhere?
Yeah.
But, and I'm imagining it's got to be hard for him not to be there when he was there for all those years. But respect to him, though, what he's done at Syracuse in the community. How could anybody dare say one bad thing about that man? And you know what? I see stuff sometimes on social media. I will never let anybody talk bad about Coach Boeheim. It won't happen. And I tell people, I said, watch your mouth because I'll come after you.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, you and I have not always agreed, game to game in maybe some of the things that he chose to do or whatever that may be. And so schematically, we might say, hey, we don't agree with this, but we've never disrespected him as a person or talked down about him as a person. We might have said, hey, this is what we would look at, or, a little bit of critical thinking, constructive criticism, whatnot, that we would look at things. But there's people out there, so much hate last year, which really, this was something that I never thought I would hear in the Dome. I know fans get angry. I know they've been rude to players. I know that I've seen it firsthand with players that I'm very close with. But last year, and I think it was the student section, at least it was young kids if they weren't students at Syracuse, and they multiple times last season yelled out, and I'm not going to say the word because it's a family show, but they said, F you, Boeheim. And I just remember sitting there going, you're like 18, 19 years old. This man has put Syracuse on the map. He arguably could be right now, maybe to a lot of people without question, the reason why the majority of people around the world know about Syracuse, the reason why the NBA knows about Syracuse. Right. Yeah.
Is the reason why.
So knowing what he's done for the community and knowing how he's put Syracuse on the map, and I can't go anywhere in this world without somebody stopping me and being like, if they see me wearing Syracuse, when I was working at Disney and my name tag said Syracuse, New York, and I would literally just be walking into Hollywood Studios and somebody would walk up to my right and go, Cuse in the house. And and so you just, you think about all that and you think about what he's done. Love him or not love him, be a fan of him or not be a fan of him, be frustrated with him or appreciate and respect him. Jim Boeheim has been an integral part of not Syracuse University, of not Syracuse basketball, but Syracuse, New York's community being known to the world. And so win, lose, or draw, I think people need to really understand and reflect on the fact that people know my hometown. They know all about Syracuse because of a guy like Jim Boeheim. And I think that that's the biggest part of it all, is that when you're from Syracuse, there's 5 Syracuse cities. I think there's 5 in the United States, 5 or 7. Nobody knows Syracuse, Kentucky. Nobody knows Syracuse, Illinois. Nobody knows Syracuse, Kansas for the most part. If you hear Syracuse, it's New York. And I think you got to give, if you don't want to put respect on his name for anything else, you got to respect the man that, he put my hometown in a place where I don't think I can go anywhere in the world to any nook or cranny where people don't know Syracuse if I say it.
I was actually in Fort Myers over the summer on vacation with my wife, and I had a Syracuse shirt on, and the number of people that came up to me, and then it got to a point where I was like, I can't put the shirt on anymore. People just keep talking to me. I just want to have a good time. My wife is like, don't wear that shirt no more.
Yeah.
Everybody, you see that Syracuse, and it's a testament to Coach Boeheim, full stop.
Yeah. No, it is. And it's funny because you said that when I was down in St. Pete, and my favorite beach in the world up to this point. And so I was down at St. Pete. I was with my parents. We were on vacation, and we're down in St. Pete, Florida, and there's a bunch of people playing volleyball at the hotel we were staying at. So I walked over to them, and I was wearing a Syracuse shirt. And they said, hey, man, what's your name? I said, Dan. They said, where are you from? And I pointed my shirt. And they're like, all right, cool. And then they said, you any good at this? I'm like, I feel like I'm, I'll try. I feel like I'm all right. And so I went over to play with them, and I'm doing some things, and I like do one thing, I do another thing. They're like, yeah, man. They're like, you know what? We're going to call you, with all due respect, if it's okay with you, we're going to call you Syracuse. So I'd be running after the ball, and they're like, get it, Syracuse. That's what I'm talking about, Syracuse. So I was representing the entire community on a volleyball court at St. Pete because I wore a Syracuse t-shirt that day. So
how about that?
you know, but it's moments like that, Gene, where I think, like I said, whether people are critical, overly critical, or whatever it may be about Jim Boeheim, number one, I mean, I think there's two things we need to take away from this. Many things, but let's talk about these two. The man's got thick skin. Number one. That man's skin is Kevlar. So he's got some thick skin. And then the other part of it is love him or don't like him. I mean, like I said, everybody living in Syracuse, coming from Syracuse, family in Syracuse, businesses in Syracuse, whether you want to admit it or not, y'all, I mean, you kind of, in a way, at the very least, if you see him in the airport, you should walk up to him and say thank you.
Exactly. Because behind that thick skin is a man who's caring, understanding, and always looking out. Always.
And you and I talked about this, speaking here with Gene Waldron, Syracuse Orange basketball alum, that when you were going through your hard times and you're going through things as a player, you were going through things as a young man, you were going through things, beyond your time at Syracuse, you told me that Boeheim was one of the people there for you. He was one of the people trying to help you take care of yourself, get better, that he was a phone call you could make, that he was a person you could talk to. When you and I did that Thanksgiving special so many years ago about the adversity you've had in your life, you told me very emotionally that Jim Boeheim was always there for you.
Always. I mean, you have to be grateful to have people like that in your life. People see a side of him that they don't know. There's a side of him that so many people don't know. They see the coaching, but they don't see him as the person, how caring and helpful and understanding he is. But the one thing about him, he's going to tell it to you straight. He did it to me. He told it to me straight, though.
No, and that's the thing, right? They say that the people that love you the most, you don't want yes men in your life. You want somebody who's gonna tell you what's up, who's gonna be. I mean, Gene and I think if we didn't already know this about our friendship, I think that you and I both know that we are honest people. Because when we were having that food tasting thing, you and I would look at each other, and Gene would go, "No." And one time he picked up the dish and he goes, "I'm not even gonna let you try this." He's like, "I'm not gonna let you try it. I'm not gonna let you eat it." He goes, just look at me, understand it wasn't good. Let's move on. And then, and we would. I mean, I would look at Gene and I would be like, he'd be like, "What you want to give it?" I'm like, "Man, we got until 10. And he was like, "All right." And I said, I was like 6. And he's like, and he looked at me and I was like, "I really want to give it a 4. And he's like, "Then that's what you should give it." So like,
I'll tell you what, Dan, that was some fun, but boy, some of that food, some of it was good, but it was a lot of sweet, but we had a great time. That was a great day.
Yeah, it was. We had a great time. We got to be in this food truck battle out at the New York State Fairgrounds. We had the opportunity to vote and to be out there trying this food and telling you what we think. And some of the food was really good, and other times Gene and I were like, where's the bathroom? So
I tell you what, I really appreciate Pat, having me out there. That was really fun. Her truck was really good too. She had some different types of food, but it was really good.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, and Pat Orr, PB&J's Lunchbox, a longtime partner of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, they have a food truck that goes literally all around the community in central and upstate New York through the winter. They literally don't stop. You think food truck time is from April to August. No, her time is all the year, all 12 months of the year. They're constantly doing stuff in the community. They have a cafe, a standalone restaurant on 6630 Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. So you can go to the food truck or you can go to the cafe. You can get their food all year long. They can come out to see you. You can go out to see them. But, yeah, their food is great. It looked the part, really tasty, really nice. So I'm happy that you brought up, Pat, because PB&J's Lunchbox always does a great job.
I would tell anybody, you want some really good food, Pat, or you got to find where she's at. You got to. You have to find where she's at. I was actually, and she's actually a character. She's pretty funny as well.
yeah, she is. She definitely got that energy. She's got that spunk, and you see that in the restaurant, 6630 Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox. Much love to you, Pat. Hope you're doing well. So, and I implore everybody to go out and visit her like Gene and I do. Looking at the team this season, as we're breaking it down, as we're looking at this team, play some zone, play some man, do some things that we haven't seen in a really long time, some things that nobody's ever seen. Having a Quadir Copeland who told me in Greensboro when they lost last season in the ACC tournament, he said, I didn't come here to play the 2, I came here to play the 1. I'm a point guard. And so he wanted to get more involved. We're seeing his involvement. We're seeing how he has been playing point guard even with other guys in there. Judah, JJ, that backcourt and what that looks like. Underneath what that's looked like, they don't have a true center on the team. They're rotating guys in and out. Benny Williams has been in and out of it this season with different issues that have been going on off the court. I mean, when we look at the grand scheme of things, from is Benny Williams going to play or not, to not having a center, to having 3 guys that can bring the ball up, to all these other pieces and elements like the Chris Bells and the Malik Browns of the world, how do you assess the team up to this point?
I think it's a team who's actually finding its way right now. I think Copeland brings a lot to the table. I think he actually brings them together. I also believe that JJ is really starting to find his shot, where I think early in the season he wasn't able to do that. And the confidence is there. Judah's really starting to play the point a little bit better. But I think he has to start to do that throughout the game, because I think towards the end of the game, he looks to try to take over, for me, a little bit too much, opposed to like doing what he's been doing early in the game. I really like Brown. Brown is really good defensively. I mean, this guy, he's got to be close to leading the country in steals. Him and Copeland, they got to be up there. But they also play great man-to-man defense. I think Benny's starting to find his way, and that's what's going to be important. Those guys have to come together because they're a young team. They come together, play together, pull for each other. Anything is possible with this team because the talent, there's no question the talent is there. And everybody has to play their role. If you play your role the right way, listen to coach, anything is possible. And I think they're starting to find a way. But tonight's going to be a big test for them.
Yeah, when you look at, before I let you go, Gene, when you look at the backcourt, you played in the backcourt, you know what it's like to be a guard on Syracuse and wear that across your chest. J.J. Starling, Kyle Cuff, Quadir Copeland, Judah Mintz, we've seen all those guys in there this season. What are your thoughts as we break them down individually from Cuff to Starling to Mintz to Copeland? Give me your thoughts on each of these guys and what they bring to the team, what their piece of this team is.
Well, I think Cuff starts. I think he brings some good energy. I think he plays really good defense. He can get to the basket. His shot is pretty good. But I think the one thing about him when he comes into the game, he brings some really good energy defensively. And Judah can get to the basket at any time he wants. But I think at times he has to be just see what's in front of him before he goes, because with his talent, he's I'm sure he believes he could just go and get to the basket at any time. I don't know about his jump shot. It's a little suspect, but at times it goes in. Copeland is just phenomenal. He can do it all. For me, I mean, I think I'm going to say about 6'5", 6'6". He rebounds, he passes the ball, he's got charisma, he's got a lot of energy. And I think he lifts the team up a lot. And I think that's really important. And for me, JJ is playing with no fear. He gets in the lane quite a bit. I would like to see him get to the free throw line a little bit more. This past game, his shot was really on, but I would like to see him get to the basket a little bit more and get to the free throw line. But overall, if I had to put all those in and grade all of them together, I'd give him a B plus.
Yeah, and I can understand that, right? B plus, right below an A minus. Letting this team learn and seeing, and so like you said, seeing some of these things. They're growing. They're trying to find their place. They're trying to find their footing. So giving them a B plus is saying, hey, you're getting better. You're doing some good things. You haven't completely kind of figured it out yet, and you have to constantly kind of grow with that. But I can agree with that. I can agree with a B plus. I think J.J. Starling, seeing his shot get better, Quadir Copeland, really seeing him be the catalyst and come into himself. I would argue that he's the guy right now. And then,
he is the guy.
Yeah.
And so you hear a lot of people say he should be starting over Taylor. I totally disagree with that. I believe Taylor should be starting, and Copeland should continue to come off the bench, because that spark coming off the bench is something that you need. And even if Taylor's not shooting okay, he's still a big body in that. He's still a big body in that game, and he still looks for a shot, so he's still a threat. And the more he gets more confident and that shot starts to drop, and then he comes out and you bring Copeland in, now you've got a little bit more than what you had. So I think Copeland should continue to come off the bench, because you need that spark.
Well, I know that they're different players, but there was a guard that came off the bench years ago, and his name was Dion Waiters, and that seemed to work out all right. So,
yes.
So yeah, Q has definitely been awesome. I think Judah he's got to continue to learn leadership. He's got to continue to, show that he can be a point guard. I think the whole street ball side of it and his ability to score, going to the NBA, everybody can do that. So I think he's got to show more with the decision making, the leadership, and all of that. And then I think we can maybe see the evolution of Judah, but I need to see some more of him, because right now I think Quadir Copeland is the guy, like you said.
Yeah, I think he definitely is the guy. And he brings the team together. After that Miami game, and I was in the locker room, you could just see the enthusiasm that he has, and him bringing the team together. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, and it's like perfect timing, because I was like, all right, so, we talked about a bunch of stuff. Looking forward to talking to Gene soon. And just like the Emmy Award music, the dogs are kind of calling you off the stage. So, with that being...
Holly just saw something run through our backyard.
Yeah.
And she's very protective. But I'm not going to let her out. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, well, she definitely... she's definitely hungry for sure. She's looking for something out there. But with that being said, it's funny how we're talking about the dogs, Q being one of the dogs out there for SU. We're hearing the dogs barking. Gene Waldron always out there hunting for good talent. And Gene, let everybody know how they can connect with you now, because like I said, you're doing so much work in the community. So just how people can connect with you today.
Well, I'm at the Beeville Y in Baldwinsville, the YMCA there. I do personal training, one-on-one personal training. I give my skills to the kids and help them get better. And it's not always about basketball, because sometimes, after I go through the personal training, we sit down and we just talk about mindset, how you doing in school, how things that you need to do to be successful at home, how you should be treating people. And I think all those things are important. How you doing, make sure your grades right. All those things are important. So when I do my personal training, it's not just about basketball. And I think that's important.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, training and the quote for our show, where sports meets life. And you describing that, going beyond basketball and training and helping people to really be good people and positive people contributing to our community. As always, Mr. Waldron, I appreciate you. You are family to me, And so I look forward to seeing you soon and doing some other great things in the community together, as we've always had the pleasure of doing so. But the conversation's great. It always flies by, and I appreciate you so much.
And that's when you know it's real, when it flies by.
That's right. I feel like I was just like, hey, let's welcome Gene. Well, all right, Gene, we'll talk to you later. So, thanks for everything as always, Gene, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
All right, Dan, take care. Have a good day, bud.
All right, you too. Be good. Say hi to the family.
Got it. Bye.
See you. That coming from Gene Waldron here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We're going to take a step aside for a fast break, and we will bring you the ingredients to success, proudly presented by the wonderful team at Avicolli's, right after this on Wake Up Call.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks, located on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, is your sports card shop to go to. Folks, there's sports card shops, and then there's GG Cards and Breaks, a place that truly goes above and beyond. And Josh and Anthony and the team, they love sports cards. They collect sports cards. That's what I love about this. When you walk in there, they're collecting cards to this day. They know the cards that are out there. They school themselves on the information. They know what they're looking for. When you pull something huge, they're going to go nuts. They're going to be happy for you. It's not just about the individual. It's about the community. And that's what I love. When you walk into GG Cards and Breaks, it's something that I think could help society in general, is seeing people root for each other, people happy for each other, people wanting you to find your favorite player, to find that rare card, and to come out and enjoy collecting at GG Cards and Breaks. They have basketball, football, baseball, soccer, hockey, all sport, AEW, all of those different pieces, as well as Pokemon and the new Disney Lorcana, which is really hard to get in stores, and they have had product in the store while supplies last. That product goes very, very quick. There might be a pack or two left, so make sure you get out to GG Cards and Breaks today to get that on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. They have singles, packs, boxes. They have graded cards. They have the NFL Player of the Day going on with the Panini Special, where if you buy any Panini football product, you get these really cool promos that you're up for in Panini. If you are able to get one of the cool things that Panini's doing in their promotion. So if you get any Panini football product, and you can watch the video because I describe all this in the video and I actually show it to you because I buy a Panini product to go through the whole thing. But any Panini football product that you buy in store at GG Cards and Breaks for the next, it started on January 17th, so it started last Wednesday and runs 32 days. Any Panini football product you buy, you're automatically put into this opportunity where you could get something from this promotion. So once you do that, if you meet the criteria, then there's an opportunity for you to win some prizes weekly, monthly, and in general with Panini football and I'm really excited about it. I think it's an awesome promotion. Like I said, I've been a part of it. I've gotten to experience it. I've gotten some awesome cards from being a part of it at GG Cards and Breaks. So make sure you go over there and you do that today. 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, right off of Teal Ave. All you have to do is ask the staff at GG Cards and Breaks, how do I get involved in NFL Player of the Day? How do I do this Panini promotion? They'll tell you, or you can watch my video and walk in and say, I want to do the Panini promotion. So they say, all right, come over here. This is what we got. This is what we can do. And you'll have some fun. And it is really very exciting. They do a fantastic job. So when you have these call to action moments on top of everything, plus trade night is going to be this Thursday on the road at the Wildcat Sports Pub, and you see both of those logos next to each other on your screen right now. That's going to be awesome. We've done one of the trade nights at the Wildcat Sports Pub. I got to help all of this come together. I'm very honored and privileged to work with both of these incredible businesses and to, kind of all put our heads together and do this, and for Josh and Anthony and Danny and myself to all be able to connect. Now we're going to do it again this Thursday from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m., January 25th. We're going to be bringing trade night to the Wildcat Sports Pub. So come out and do that. Bring your cards to buy, sell, and trade. So many great things going on. In store, we have the NFL Player of the Day Panini promotion that's really awesome at GG Cards and Breaks. Plus, we have all the product that's already great at GG Cards and Breaks. Plus, this Thursday, we're going to be at the Wildcat with GG Cards and Breaks trade night. So a lot of great stuff going on at GG's. And to all my sports fans out there, if you're watching this show, then there's some card somewhere that you could be collecting and putting into your home or selling or trading it or whatever it may be. Literally every sports card fan can find something at GG Cards and Breaks. So make your way over there today. Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 to 5. And you can experience the difference like I have at GG Cards and Breaks. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, it's time for the ingredients to success, proudly presented by the fantastic team at Avicolli's on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York. They're on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road, literally down the street from Liverpool High School. You could stand on the corner where Avicolli's is and look down the street and see Liverpool High School within walking distance. That is where we do our monthly Liverpool Warriors broadcasts with student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year. Most recently, we had the girls basketball team. We got the boys basketball team coming up within the next couple weeks, which I'm very excited for, with Ryan Blackwell in the crew. A lot of great stuff coming up at Avicolli's. We love seeing you on site. Thank you for your support. And please know that for me, for the kids, for the school, it never goes unnoticed, and it's very much appreciated that you come out to all the shows. So when we are there, we post it on our social media, and then you can come out and have some dinner, hang out, and watch our show and support the community at Avicolli's, which they've been doing for many, many years, and you've been supporting them right back on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York. This week's Ingredients to Success, which comes to you every Tuesday, rounding out the show, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, the ingredients to success is about teamwork and what we can do to have a strong team, a good team. What are the ingredients to success of teamwork? Well, some people might just go, all right, Dan, it's working together. There you go. Open and check case, working together. That's all you got to do for teamwork. You got to work together. That is true. You do have to work together, but that's teamwork, right? But team over self is the topic today. Team over self. It's not just teamwork. It's team over self. How a team is successful by not being a bunch of individuals, but to be the entire grouping of those individuals as one solid unit, right? And sports is such a beautiful place because in America today, people are being put off into groups. People are being segregated. They're being segregated on gender. They're being segregated on sexuality. They're being segregated on religion. They're being segregated by color, by nationality, by background. People are being segregated by man, woman, whatever. And in that segregation, divide and conquer. While in the world of sports, you see different colors, different religions, different shapes and sizes, yet the really, really great teams, they all work together. They don't care what color you are. They don't care what religion you are. They don't care how much money you have. They just say, that's my brother or that's my sister, and this is what, we're going to work together to win this game. I look back on my time in high school when I played CYO ball at St. Joe's in Camillus, and I look back on that time, and I still love my teammates. I think about Ryan, and I think about Greg, and I think about Matt, and I think about James, and so on and so forth. Our team was special because it was a bunch of people who came together and didn't care how much money you had, didn't care where you came from, didn't care what school you go to, didn't care about, what religion you were, didn't care about what color you were, what your nationality was, or whatever that may be. All we cared about was we are a team, we are a family, we work together, and we looked out for each other. And to this day, I still love those guys. And I hope that they know that. And if they don't know that, well, I love you guys. And that's a team over self, right? You want to take the shot. Everybody wants to take the shot. For the most part, there might be some guys that don't want to take the shot or some girls that don't want to take the shot. But most of the time, everybody wants to take the shot. They want that last shot. So if everybody wants to take the shot, who gets the shot? Well, if you're a team, you figure that out. If you're a team, you work it out together. If you're a team, you go through these battles and you find ways to make sure that you are focused on the collective and not the individual, right? Yes, I want to make a three-point shot, but as a team, you got to want to win together more than you want to pad your own stats. We've seen that with teams that never win anything. Some of the players are incredible. We look at, I can think of players right off the bat where I'm going, that was a really good player on a team that went nowhere. And you can go from sport to sport to sport to sport to see that, right? Mike Trout with the Angels. They don't go to the postseason. Some people consider Mike Trout the best baseball player in baseball right now. The number one guy. No, if you put all the positions together, he's the best. Right? And if he's not the best, then he's in your top 2. He's in your top 3. He's in your top 5. Mike Trout, right? But he's on a team that doesn't go to the postseason. Allen Iverson, fantastic player, could score 50 points in a game. But Philadelphia's not out there winning championships when he was playing, right? So you look at, and you can go from Barry Sanders with the Detroit Lions. Some people, the best running back that has ever lived. But Detroit didn't go to the postseason more often than not. They didn't do a whole lot of anything in the grand scheme of things, but Barry Sanders was really good, right? You can go from sport to sport, and you can say those things. You can say, okay, David Villa for New York City FC, he comes from winning a World Cup with Spain. Shout out to one of my countries that my family came from and is still there. David Villa wins. He comes to New York City FC in the MLS, and they're not out there winning championship after championship, but he's a really good player, and he won a World Cup, and you know his name probably because of that in certain circles. So, team over self. You can be individually talented. You can be individually great. You can individually have a great... But if you have the best CEO, but your employees don't believe in the business, don't believe in the brand, you're not going to win. Right? You could have a really good head coach, but not a good GM. You're not going to win. You can have a really good offensive coordinator, but a really terrible defensive coordinator. You're not going to win. It's about team over self. And that's what we live in, a society where it's me. It's me, it's me, it's me. It's all about me. It's got to be about me. Taking care of me. Me, me, me. But see, that's a society that was created in order to keep us separated. That was a society that was created in order to keep us down. It was a society created to segregate us. If everybody cares about themselves, there is no team. And if there is no team, they are easy to defeat. Think about this. If you had a team of 5 on a basketball court playing a team of 1, that person that's got 1, they can't guard everybody. They're not going to win. If you're on the NFL field, right, if you're on a football field anywhere in any respect, Pee-wee to the NFL and so on and so forth, if you're 1 against 11, you're not going to win. That's reality. Okay? That's the reality of it all. Your team helps to pick you up. You might be running cross country and you're trying to get an individual best and do this, but you have other people on your team that are also running, and as a collective, in swimming and diving, as a collective, you get scored. You might break a record, but as a collective, you got to try and win as a team. You might be in the pool by yourself, but that end score is all of y'all. So, the team over self. How do we do that in life? Well, we have to be selfless. And see, there's a difference. When you take care of yourself, you're not being selfish. You're being healthy. People that tell you that you're being selfish when you say, I'm going to take care of myself, I'm going to take a day to me, I'm going to go on vacation, I'm going to, go and breathe, I'm going to eat lunch by myself today, I'm going to take a walk today, I'm not going to answer my phone, but you always talk to somebody at lunchtime, and today you're like, you know what, Jill, I'm not going to answer the phone today, I just want to walk around. Sorry, Pete, I'm not going to answer the phone today, I just want to have some time on the parkway by myself. When you take care of yourself, you're not being selfish, you're being healthy. You're practicing wellness, right? You're taking care of your self-worth. So when I ask you to be selfless, I'm not asking you to not take care of yourself. I'm asking you to care about other people. I'm asking you to care about the rest of your team. How do you have team over self? You have to be selfless. And what that means is it's essentially one of those pillars, right? You have to be willing to pass the ball. You have to be willing to pass the baton. You have to be willing to say, okay, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to take the last shot, but I'm going to set the last pick. I'm going to do something to help us win. I'm going to pass this ball to my teammate. I'm going to give the ball to James, but I'm going to set the screen for him, right? I'm not taking the last shot. The play is designed for him to take the last shot, but I'm going to set that screen. I'm going to give him the best opportunity to make the shot instead of being selfish and going, well, if I'm not shooting, screw him. He can go out there and have somebody with a hand in his face and try to make the shot. No, if I want my team to win, I'm going to keep the guy out of his face to the best of my ability, right? I'm going to set the screen. So team over self. Are you doing that in your life? When you look at your team, when you look at everybody together, if you're the CEO, are you still out there setting screens? Or are you just saying, hey, you know what? I'm on floor 50. I don't have to worry about everybody floor 1 through 49. I don't have to set any screens. Because we forget sometimes how we got to where we got to. When you're a good friend, sometimes you got to pass the ball. What does that mean? That means sometimes you got to let them talk. Sometimes somebody just needs you. They don't need advice. They don't need you to interrupt them. They don't need you to compare yourself to them. Oh, yeah, I went through that too. Sometimes people just want you to listen. They want you to cry with them. They want you to laugh with them. They want you to hear them. Think about this. If somebody is calling you, they want to hear from you. They want to talk with you. They've chosen you. When I go through my phone and I'm driving and I make a phone call, because I want to talk to somebody, I've chosen that is the person that I want to talk to. I've chosen that this is the person I want to spend my time with. This is the person I want to share this thing with, right? Because I don't give everybody the phone call. When I got big news, I don't call everybody. I call some people. I text some people. I let a few people know. I don't tell everybody what's going on, but I tell a few people what's going on. Right? And sometimes when they call me, when they text me, they just want me to know. I had a friend do this week. He just wanted me to know something. He was feeling some kind of way about something going on in his life, and he just wanted me to know, this is how I feel, Dan. And I was like, you have every right to feel that way. He's like, yeah, but this is how I feel. And I said, okay. He's like, I just want you to know. He didn't need advice. He just needed to share with somebody he loves what he was feeling. And I just needed to be there. I didn't need to give him advice. I didn't need to compare myself. I didn't need to tell him what to do. I just needed to be there and say, brother, I'm here. I hear you. I get it. You have every right to feel that way. What can I do? What can I do? How can I help you? Do you want me to just sit here? And sometimes you got to ask that question. Right? Because some of us say, well, we don't know what to do, Dan. We don't know if they want us to just sit there or if they want us to talk or what. So ask them. We spend most of our lives wondering what people are thinking and wondering what people are doing. What do they think of us? Instead of just asking. It's not something that's fun to do. You might have somebody go, I hate you. I don't like you. I don't like your face. I don't like anything about you. There's nothing that you're doing, but I don't want to talk to you. Having somebody say that to your face, I don't want to talk to you. I don't really want to talk to you. I don't want to be a part of what you're doing. But isn't it better to know that than to call them for years and think maybe they want to, maybe they want. I would rather a business say, I don't want to work with you. That sucks to hear. But if a business says, I don't want to work with you, now I'm not spending 6 months chasing you down, having these meetings, knowing that it's not going anywhere in your head, but you're not telling me that. You're wasting my time. I want to go to places where people appreciate what I do. Not everybody's going to appreciate what you do. Why do we get mad when people turn us down? Michael Jordan got kicked off his high school team, right? I left my high school and played CYO ball because the coach that was at my high school was on the verge of telling me, you're too short. And I was 5'5", 5'4". And it's like, okay, number one, I'm in high school. Number two, Muggsy Bogues. Number three, Damon Stoudemire. Number four, Spud Webb. Do I have to keep going? Just because, I can't control if I'm short. I can control my effort. And when he told me that, I was like, okay, I'm not going to win. I don't want to have this conversation with this guy anymore. You don't want me on the team? Fine. But you're sitting in your office while we're practicing. Why don't you come out here and watch me? I'm hitting threes looking over my shoulder, and you're not there. You're not looking at me. You don't know the things I'm doing well. Instead of just going, yeah, no, we don't want you, why don't you look at what I'm doing well, look at what I'm not doing well, actually coach me so that maybe I could make this team, because maybe you're seeing something that I'm not seeing, or maybe you're seeing something that I am seeing. Maybe I just need a little more push. You're not a good coach when you just go, yep, I like that guy. I don't like that guy. Why don't you coach a little bit, right? The people that I appreciate the most are the people that can come up to me and say, Dan, did you ever think about doing this? Did you ever think about trying this? Do you think that maybe this would be better? Yeah, this is good, but is it really what you want to do? See, team over self, right? You go outside of yourself to help other people. You go outside of yourself to let other people help you. I'm not saying you got to listen to the world. I'm not saying go on social media and ask them if you're pretty. That is not what we're talking about here. I'm talking about genuine love, going to your team and figuring out, how can I help them? How can they help me? Will I let them help me? Will I listen? Will I listen to what they have to say? You don't have to trust everything they have to say. I've had people tell me stuff that I don't agree with. I've had people tell me stuff that I don't think is necessarily right. I've had people tell me stuff that if I believed them, I would have, I can't say the QUIT word, but I would have done that. Team over self is taking a step back and thinking about, how can this all work out? You're not a good president if you don't at least listen to your vice president and your secretary of state and your secretary of defense and your cabinet. Why are they there if you don't listen? You don't have to ultimately take the decisions they gave you, but it's extra information that maybe you didn't have that can help you make a better decision. But there's no point in having a cabinet if it doesn't matter if it's full or bare. It doesn't mean anything to have a cabinet if it doesn't matter if it's full or bare. Right? When I buy chicken and I season it, I got to go to my cabinet. I have to make choices of what I want it to taste like, what I want it to be, what am I creating. When you go to your cabinet of people, you have to make choices of who are you going to, what am I trying to create, how are they going to help me do this, why am I going to these people, what elements can they bring to the table. A good team understands the talents of each other and also understands the weaknesses. Well, I can't give, I want to give him the ball, but he's not good on that 15-foot jumper. He's got to shoot inside 15 feet. So I'm going to wait until he comes in a little bit, and I'm going to hit him on the way to the basket. Oh, she's really good at lacrosse, but she struggles when she's face on with a goalkeeper. She's better taking long ball shots. So I'm going to try and set her up so she can take a shot where her vision is better from longer distance than when she's close up. You have to know your team in order to work well together. You have to understand your personnel. You can have a successful business, and it could be successful for decades. But if your president, your CEO, your GM, your owner, if they don't know their people, eventually they will struggle. I want to work for a business
where the president comes and sees the people that are working day to day, the people that are working paycheck to paycheck, hour to hour. You're making $1 million, but I'm the one that's making you look good. You're behind the scenes. I'm the one that's in front of everybody. Why wouldn't you want to know me? See, so we're not just talking about team with sports. I'm talking about team in general. You have to be willing to hear constructive criticism. You have to be willing to open up your cabinet and see what it has to say. You have to be willing to learn new things and grow as an individual. You have to be willing to come out from the background and put yourself there. You have to be willing to be selfless. You have to be willing to understand that roles change at different times, right? Team over self, marriage, right? You have a baby. Your wife gets a new job. That job is more taxing on her. Your job is already taxing on you. But she's been taking care of the baby for the first 3 years that the baby's been alive. Now she's got this big time job. So can you do a little bit on your end to help her live her dream when she's helped you live yours and take care of the baby? Roles change, right? You have to be willing. A team is parents and kids. A team is grandparents and kids. A team is husband and wife. A team is a team on the court. A team is CEO employees, right? There's so many different versions of teams, but the ingredients to success stay the same. Listen, learn, grow, ad-lib, be selfless, be understanding, be compassionate, push each other constructively, not destructively. Be willing to hear other ideas. Be willing to set picks. Be willing to roll off. Be willing to full court press. Be willing to run at full speed. Be willing to sweat. Be willing to adjust. If you want to win on the basketball court, in your marriage, with your friends, with your family, with your kids, those ingredients don't change. Setting a screen in basketball could be in your marriage creating a opportunity to open up some more time for your spouse to do things that they need to do, right? The figurative screen, but it's still a screen. You're still setting a pick, right? Maybe it's with the in-laws, right? Maybe you know your in-laws are a little bit crazy. Maybe you know they bother your wife. So you set a little screen, right? You say, oh, this Christmas we're going to go on a cruise. You can't even reach us by phone. You set a screen. So it's all about health. It's about unity. It's about togetherness. It's about working together. I have covered sports for over 20 years. I've watched sports all my life. And I have watched countless teams have one or two really good players, but they never win anything because they don't have a team. They have a couple good players. They have one great player, but they don't have everything else. Jordan could score 65 in a game. Jordan could score 40 in a game. But Jordan, when the team needed to score 97 to win and Jordan scored 40, that means Scottie Pippen and Tony Kukoc and Luke Longley and Ron Harper and Stacey King and Dennis Rodman, they had to all combine to get the other 57 points. And B.J. Armstrong and so on and so forth. They had to combine to get the 57 points. We all look at Michael Jordan and go, man, without Michael Jordan, they would have lost by 40. Well, without the rest of the guys with Michael Jordan, they would have lost by 57. You got to see it. You got to see the angles, man. The most successful, I believe this, the most successful people in life are the people that can work in a team
even when there's frustration, especially when there's frustration, especially when the team is upset, especially when somebody on the team doesn't feel heard, when somebody on the team feels misunderstood, when something happens with the team and you have to work it out. You have to get through it. I've seen locker rooms where the team works together. I've seen locker rooms where they don't. And no matter how good that team was that wasn't working together, they eventually blew up. But then there's that team that is working together, and they might not win as much, and they might not win as consistently, but holy mother, is it good to walk into that locker room and know that these guys are actually trying to do it right. They're actually trying to do it together. They're actually loving each other. They're actually having faith in God. They're actually creating something that when they do have success, they can sustain it, as opposed to just having a few sparks here and there that ends up really being dynamite and blowing up the whole team. Anybody can have a spark or two, but is that spark the light that's connected to the dynamite stick, or is that spark going to be rather a candle, something that can stay lit, keep going, continue to provide light? You know, it's a lot of work to be a team. But human beings were not meant to live life alone. That's why solitary confinement is a punishment when you go to jail. It is a punishment when you say to someone, you are not allowed to see anyone, talk to anyone, do anything with anyone. You have to be by yourself. If being by yourself was a good thing, and I'm not saying don't take time for yourself. I'm saying if spending your entire life by yourself, away from everybody, in solitude was a good thing, to spend every waking second of your entire life alone, then it wouldn't be a punishment in jail. It's actually something that people go crazy, arguably, when they're by themselves like that for that long. You do need your me time. You have to take care of yourself. But in any walk of life, if you're not learning how to work as a team, you will not level up. And that's reality. And those are the ingredients to success. Proudly presented by the fantastic team that works very well together, and they have to. They're very busy, thanks to all of you. And so they have to work together on the daily to make sure that everything gets out that's there for takeout, delivery, catering, as well as in the restaurant. And they do a fantastic job. I appreciate their food. I appreciate their hard work. And I appreciate that the guy that's running the show there, Mr. John Frado, is also cooking, answering phone calls. What did I say? Your GM's got to be on the floor with you. Your GM's got to know their people. Well, I think that there's a lot of success at Avicolli's because the guy that's managing and running everything, Mr. John Frado, he's there all day long, on the line, working with his people. That's team over self. Ingredients to success, proudly presented by Avicolli's on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, right down the road from Liverpool High School. It's where we do our monthly Liverpool Warriors broadcasts, and I am always very much entertained and appreciative of having the wonderful student athletes, coaches, and administration from from Liverpool High School. Some of them going to Lemoyne. So, little Lemoyne on the brain, Liverpool L. Some of them end up at Lemoyne down the road. Liverpool High School. Appreciate you so very much. Thank you for all of your love and support of Avicolli's, of Liverpool Warriors Athletics, and for coming out and seeing and listening to our shows. Speaking of show, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we continue to go over. That's just what we do here. Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You're on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com, all around the world, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Once the show goes live, they hop into the archives, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, YouTube, and more. All you have to do on any one of these outlets is search the words Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Find us, like us, follow us. Make sure that you click subscribe or follow or like, whatever that may be, on any of these podcasting platforms so that you stay connected. And when we update, it'll let you know on your device, hey, Wake Up Call just added a new show. Click to listen, making it very simple for everybody all around the world. a big time thanks to our incredible partners in Central and Upstate New York. Please go and visit the wonderful people at Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Mon Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, which is currently doing a really cool fan voting piece where they have 3 new flavors and they're trying to decide which one is going to be added to the team. And you get to be a part of that by going to 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, trying the 3 flavors, and giving your vote. You get to be a part of what is going to be the next new flavor at Mon Pa's. So go and do that today. Let them know that DT sent you to 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. GG Cards and Breaks trade night this Thursday at the Wildcat with Gigi, and we will be there Thursday, January 25th from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. on the news side with the stage that I'm typically at when I'm doing all my shows. I can't wait to be there with you, and I'm going to be broadcasting as well, so I'm going to have a ton of fun. I get to broadcast at the Wildcat, which I love, with the food that I love, around people that I love and appreciate and respect, buying, selling, and trading cards, being with the fantastic team at GG Cards and Breaks, and living my dreams and being behind a microphone, doing what I do every day. Perfect marriage of everything. And also, great teamwork. Can't wait to see you all at Trade Night this Thursday, January 25th, with GG Cards and Breaks at the Wildcat on 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. Can't wait to see you. PB&J's Lunchbox, which Gene Waldron and I gave a big endorsement of, and that's because we like the food. We didn't talk about that. He brought it up, and I was like, dude, I know that PB&J's is great. I'm happy that you love them. I love them. So many people do. You can go and see them on 6630 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Avicolli's, Great Lakes, Honda City, Pizza Man, Mother's Cupboard, Chick-fil-A Cicero, and Chick-fil-A Clay. Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Canine Campground Dog Boarding. Head to Carvel to get my signature sundae, the DT Dolphin, in connection to the Lemoyne Dolphins. Celebrate their tremendous success in their first season, first year as a Division I institution by going and getting the DT Dolphin today. And head out to Mother's Cupboard and get the Cuse McMother. Great for game day with an SU game going on tonight. The Cuse McMother is there for you. Bacon, egg, and cheese inside of 2 pieces of French toast. Pick it up and eat it like a sandwich. Cut it up and have it with some syrup. Only at Mother's Cupboard. The Lemoyne College Dolphins are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Dolphins every single month during Dolphin Time, Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. First and third Wednesday, AD and DT with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. And the second and fourth Wednesday, the Dolphin Dive, diving into stories of student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. We have had fantastic pieces all throughout 2+ years of being the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of Lemoyne, the first partnership in Lemoyne College history of this nature. Very honored to have that. Very honored to have all the wonderful guests and to have you join us. And to cover all the programs at Lemoyne has meant the world to me. Shout out to the student athletes, the coaches, administration, of course, Bob Beretta, Dr. Linda Lemura, as well as Pete DeLora and the entire board, and Pete being the chair of the Board of Trustees at Lemoyne. Many thanks. And to all of the Hall of Famers in the Gold Wave at Lemoyne. God bless you all, and much appreciation, and awesome to meet you as well. So you can find all of our content by subscribing to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT. Hit subscribe and the notification bell. You can also find them on the WakeUpCallDT.com website by going under exclusive partners. For more information, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com, and as always, fins up. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You can find the Bobcats every single month here where sports meets life. Make sure you get your way over to the wonderful, wonderful Bryan and Stratton games that are going to be going on at Allen Hall. That's where they play their home games for men's and women's basketball at Allen Hall on the OCC campus. Cannot wait to see you there. Some fantastic teams and awesome things going on with 2 teams ranked in the top 3 in the entire country for men's and women's basketball. And of course, we cover men's and women's soccer, which have both won national championships recently. And of course, we have had the opportunity to cover their baseball program. They had their inaugural season last year. So many great things coming from the Bobcats every single month. You can find them, head coaches, student athletes, and administration throughout the year. We have wonderful news coming up, a really cool special message from multiple voices, mine and others, that's going to be coming up here very shortly, and I can't wait to share that with you. The Bobcat Buzz, all of our content on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you can check out our playlist for BSC Syracuse there. And of course, you can go to wakeupcalldt.com under the exclusive partners tab and find the Bobcats for more information. Go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com, and as always, go Bobcats. With that being said, here on the show on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to thank my incredible guests. This show flew by. I can't even believe that we are 2.5 hours in, and I feel like we just started the show. Like, I feel like it's 9:05, 9:10. So, big time shout out to Daunte Bacheyie and to his mom and his whole family. Big shout out to Gene Waldron. Shout out to Avicolli's with the ingredients to success. And I want to give another shout out here, and I have to grab this and show this to you. This is from the commish. So the commish brought me this from Pizza Man. Big time shout out to the commish who brought me in an old school Jacksonville Jaguars mug. It is in prime shape here, and it is here in my studio, and it is actually right here with my little sister Fran's autograph of when she played at CNS and won a sectional championship. So big shout out to the commish, big shout out to Pizza Man, shout out to all the great partners we work with. Go and get the DT Dolphin at Carvel DeWitt, my own Sunday in our community, and go and get my sandwich, the Cuse Mother, at Mother's Cupboard today and every day of the week. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll see you tonight at the Dome for the Syracuse men's basketball game at 7 o'clock against Florida State. And of course, Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. And as we always share here on the show, you know what it is. God bless. No stress. Do your best. We'll talk soon. Be well and stay safe.